Before we can kick off, I want to introduce this lovely lady who I've been working for more than 12 months. I met Lindy in one of our training programs in the coaching program. And we've started learning and working with each other. And she is working for Leadership Tribe as an enterprise coach and a leadership coach and a trainer. She has a rich history and working with corporations, helping the leadership, helping the teams grow in the journey. It's not only that, it's also bringing change in within the teams, as well as the environments, how to improve the environments to make it better for the team so that they can be better, faster, cheaper in the way they deliver some of the work and make the clients and the employees happy. How do we do it? It's not a magic pill, but it's the way we work and the way we help people to achieve their goals, not your goals, their goals. And that's the speciality Lindy has. And that's what Lindy's been working. It's an immense pleasure for me to work with Lindy. And I want to use this opportunity to introduce you to Lindy, as well as hand this over to her. Lindy, over to you.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Krishna. So today we're going to talk about how mindfulness enables agile leadership. Thank you so much for joining us. I would also like to welcome you to this session. Let me just quickly see if I can go to the next slide. Hang on a second. For some reason, my slide deck has frozen. Let me just see what's happening. Oh, okay, so I'll just do it manually. So welcome to Leadership Tribe. So just a little bit about Leadership Tribe. We are a global accredited agile consultancy firm, and we also offer accredited courses specifically in coaching, facilitation, enterprise coaching, and Krishna will be taking you through those courses that we offer at the end of this program. We provide digital transformation, so that is one of our services. We also offer agile consulting. We've got Krishna in our team that is a seasoned consultant and has also worked for IBM previously, and also training and coaching services. So apart from our training, we also provide those services to you as well. Our aim is really to provide business transformation and for sustainable changes. So that is our aim. So I'm an authorized instructor. Krishna has already introduced me. So I'm not going to talk too much about myself, because the most important thing is that we talk about mindfulness. And that is the reason why we are here as well. So what is mindfulness? So let's just have a look at our agenda. We're going to look at the introduction to mindfulness and the neuroscience behind it. We're also going to look at why it's important for agile leadership and teams, and identify how we can apply mindfulness to our agile philosophy. So how does it actually fit in with the Agile Manifesto that some of us are familiar with? If you're not familiar with Agile, that's also fine, because we'll give you a little bit of background of Agile. And then we're going to do a really fun exercise, which is that we're going to practice mindfulness. We're going to do a quick breathing exercise, which is just going to be like 2 to 3 minutes for you to be able to experience mindfulness. And that would be the end of our session. I'll then hand you over to Krishna, who will talk a little bit more about the programs, the upcoming programs. Are there anything that you would like to add, Krishna, at this point?
So before we can jump in, I want to ask everyone in the chat to type something. What is mindfulness according to you? Just type it in the chat window. There's no right or wrong answer. Let's explore it together. So mindfulness, what is according to you? That's it. All I wanted to add, Lindy. Over to you.
Thank you. And that's my next slide, by the way. So, so what is mindfulness? Thank you so much. Yes, so it's being in the present, being in the moment. Okay. It's the here and now. Thank you, Philip. Okay, being present in the moment, consciousness, paying attention. Thank you so much. So clearing your thought. Thank you for that, Jaswinder. Your thoughts in coming back to the present. Okay, so that is what mindfulness is. Thank you so much. So mindfulness is both a practice and a state of mind. So it's a journey and it's also a destination. So being mindful is also to have awareness, to have presence, to have focus, and to have that attention in the moment. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the next part. It's about being self-aware. So a lot of our programs is about self-awareness, and it's being aware of our thoughts, of our emotions, of our actions, and also of our behavior, and in particular, the effect that our behavior has on other people. The foundation of effective leadership is made up of mindfulness, intelligence, and servant leadership. So when we teach Agile, we also talk about servant leadership, which is the foundation of the Agile Manifesto and the principles. So just in a nutshell, if anybody asks you, what is mindfulness? It is the art of living in the moment. And for me personally, this was a mind shift that I had to make, because most of the time we are only thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow, what is going to happen today, and our next steps. So we actually don't live in the moment. We never enjoy that moment. Like, for example, now we're on this webinar, and at the moment, our minds might be racing, thinking about what am I going to do later tonight or today? How is my meeting going to go with my team later or tomorrow or this weekend? So many of us are stuck in terms of clutter, mental clutter, where we're just thinking about all these different thoughts that is not relevant to where we are right now. Okay, I'm just gonna move on to the next slide. Sorry, I'm just really struggling to move the slides. Just quickly see. I can. Oh, there. Okay, we're back. Okay, so sorry guys, just bear with me. Technical problem. So take a moment to ask yourself, I would like you to ask, how present am I in everything that I do during the day? So how present are you at the moment? So for example, most of us spend running on autopilot. Okay, what does autopilot means? That we are just running through the day, wishing for 5 p.m. to come, rushing from place to place, rushing from task to task. If you think about pre-COVID, everybody was just rushing around, driving in their cars. When was the last time that you sat down for breakfast and really tasted what you were eating? Okay. When was the last time that you put your head down on your pillow and fell asleep instantaneously without a whirlwind of questions occupying your mind? And when was the last time that you spoke to somebody and really focused on what they were saying? Their body language, their expressions, without thinking about what you're going to say next. So thinking about mindfulness, learning about mindfulness, it is about the present. It's about where we are right now. So did you know that 48% of people's waking, this is according to studies, are spent mind wandering, which means that 48% of our lives, our mind is just wandering. This means that you're literally spending half of a day thinking about random things, and that might not even be important things. So we're living in autopilot mode. So what is the effect of this on you? What is the effect of this on your family, on your team, on your work, and on your personal life? It's something to think about. It was something that I thought about, thinking about all the things that's occupying my mind, and that it's actually irrelevant because I'm not living in the moment. So what is the neuroscience behind mindfulness? Okay, so the neuroscience behind mindfulness is very important, and it's the basis, because mindfulness is not just something, a fluffy idea that somebody thought about. There's solid research that has been done within organizations and also at universities that shows, that has proven that practices of mindfulness create new neural pathways to rewire the brain, which means it leads to heightened brain function and improved memory and overall work performance. So this lady, I'm not sure if you're familiar with her, but you might want to get her book. It's called Juliet Adams, and she's the co-author of Mindful Leadership for Dummies. And you might want to download her book, but she said that a core component of mindfulness is learning to observe your own unique patterns of thought and behavior. And this allows you to take control and become wiser and a more considerate leader. So if we talk about the neuroscience, I don't want to dive deep into it, but it's important to mention that neuroplasticity, perhaps you have heard of that before, maybe not, is a wonderful thing because it means that our brain has the ability to change and adapt as a result of our experiences. So we can create those new neuro connections within our brain through our experiences. We are in control of our own experiences. So why is this important? Related to agility again, is that mindfulness makes you a more agile leader. That's why we're having this webinar. That's why it's important for us to talk about it, because now where we are now in a globalized economy with multiple transformative events, it can potentially have a lot of impact on your organization. And mindfulness becomes very important during where we are now. Okay, let me stop here and just get some comments. Are there anybody that would like to, in the chat box, just maybe comment anything about the neuroscience? Krishna, I don't know if you just want to say something about the neuroscience. It's just a little bit of background. There's a wealth of information on the internet if you want to read more about it or are interested in it. Anybody that would like to just put anything on the chat box? Is everybody still there? Okay, Krishna?
Okay, I have an example. I want
Yes.
I have an example I want to share. And I want to use the participants in the group. Can you think of a moment in your life where you were really confident, awesome, and you kicked ass? Think of a moment in your life. When was it? If you have it, type in yay in the chat window, please. Roo, yay! Okay, we got few yays. Any more? So yes, so there are some great moments in our life that we kicked ass, right? All right. Can you think of a moment in your life where you thought, what the hell did I just do? Really? I can't believe it happened. I seriously can't believe. If it happened in your life, type in yay. So we got few yays as well. Fantastic. At the same time, are you the same person who had a great time, and are you the same person who thought, shit? Is it the same? Are you the same person? Why do you think it happens? Why do you think it happens? One thing which really happens is the state of mind. Is a state of mind. One of the things behind neuroscience or even neurolinguistic programming or brain coaching is they're simple things. For example, sleep is very, very important. If you're exhausted, your brain functions entirely different from the way if you are not. So neuroscience plays a very important role. There's so much topics we can dig into. But one thing we can do is staying at the present. Because if you look at it, anything which you happened, amazing things or fears, they are in the past, or the fear of doing something, fear of failure, that's in the future. We actually end up screwing up what we have at the current phase right now. So I want you to think about it. I want you to think about it, your state of mind. If you're able to keep the state of mind positive, things tend to be better. If you're able to sleep better, you'll be able to function better. And especially for leaders, they need to make decisions. Even if you're able to make 10 decisions which matters the most, that makes a huge difference. And it all starts from you, everyone in this group. Everyone in this group. How can I help it when I'm nervous? There are different techniques, and we will talk about it.
Yeah.
Lindy, over to you.
We're going to talk about it soon. Thank you so much. Thanks, Krishna. Krishna always have good examples. So in the chat box, you can also write it down in your mind to think, why is mindfulness so important for Scrum? So remember that that is what we focus on. Mindfulness can be used in any other industry and also in your personal life. But for the purpose of this webinar, we're going to specifically look at why is mindfulness so important for Scrum and Agile teams. And we are all aware that in Scrum teams, a great deal of importance is put on team collaboration. So if you've ever been on an Agile course, or if you're planning to go onto an Agile course, you'll be learning a lot about how to build high-performing teams. It's also about communication and responsiveness to change, as we are experiencing right now in the last year. Being in a VUCA world, a volatile, uncertain, ambiguity. So there's a lot of changes that is happening in our world. And then at the same time, teams also need to be focused on customer feedback and on our OI. So all of this needs to happen in a very fast-paced setting. If anybody has worked in this group in Agile, you will know that it only happens, a Scrum happens in 1 month or even less. So it's very fast-paced. So that puts a great deal of pressure on teams. And it really helps teams to have that additional edge apart from high technical competencies. Therefore, it's very important to embrace mindfulness. And we're going to talk more, because I see in the chat box as well, people are asking what techniques, what can I do? We're going to talk about it soon. Okay. So also just a little bit of connection to Agile teams and leadership is that it creates openness and reflection. So in that time, in that 2-3 minutes that you actually doing your breathing, or you're doing your meditation, or you're just being in the moment, you can actually reflect back on what is going well, what is not going well, what do I need to change? Okay. Discovery and flexibility. Again, being very flexible, being more open to discovery. And these are all important steps for Agile teams. Adaptability, as we talked about, and pragmatic decision making. So these are all benefits of mindfulness that you can implement in your teams. So this is a wonderful graph that was actually created by a lady called Prasanna Sukuru in 2017. And what she did was she mapped the Agile philosophy to mindful principles. So I'll just highlight maybe 1 or 2. For those people that are familiar with the Agile philosophy, the most important part is that we focus on individuals and interactions over processes and tools. And this really, and the mindful principle and that is the foundation, is empathy awareness. Because we choose to focus on people, focus on being human, lean into being human. The other parts of it is also focus, motivation, non-judgment, and again, empathy. So when we are teaching coaching, when we're teaching facilitation, this is a big part of our programs. Are there anything that you would like to add, Krishna, to the manifesto or to the Agile philosophy and mindfulness?
One thing I wanted to look at is, because if you look at the values and the mindfulness principles, it resonates around human beings. It resonates around you. So in everything we do, it's one common denominator is human beings. Remember, you are a human being. We talk about human being. Being means being in the present. being in the present. So if you're talking about agile, if you're talking about mindfulness, if you're talking about anything which deals with people, think about it. Start treating them like human beings and start being in the present. If some shit happened in the last meeting or the meeting before, and you carry that baggage and you come into this meeting, do you think you will have an effective meeting?
No.
I'm not sure. In most of the cases, it's a no. So understanding yourself, being self-aware, and mindfulness plays a very, very important to help you strengthen the way you do things and the way you talk and the way you behave around people. Because without people, there are no systems. Without systems, there are no products or even clients. Think about it. Over to you, Lindy.
Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for that, Krishna. So what is the benefits of mindfulness? I think we already spoke a little bit about it, but when you research this, you'll actually see that it has tremendous benefits. And the most important one is that it reduces stress. So it really helps you to experience less anxiety. There's a University of Harvard that has done extensive studies with mindfulness techniques to see how it can lower people's depression levels. So it would be interesting if you want to read more a little bit about that. Also, it lowers your cortisol levels as well. It increases your ability to focus. So again, we want to focus, we want to be present in the moment when we are doing a scrum, when we are in a scrum. We don't really want to think about last week's scrum or tomorrow's scrum or next week's scrum, but it's really about being present, being in the moment. Okay. Also, less emotional reactivity, which is really great because before we react, we will have that time, that space for us to be able to think before we actually react. And then there's many others, which you can also see on the slide, which is related to sleep. It is related to enriching your relationships. And there's also been numerous studies that's been done that actually shows that mindfulness within organizations and awareness of it and implementation improve the bottom line. So overall, it really strengthens a person's resilience. And that is what we need to know about the benefits of mindfulness. Okay, are there any comments? Anybody that would like to add anything? Okay. Thank you. Okay. So I see some people are commenting as well that's been on the coaching course. So many people has asked, okay, so Lindy, you're talking about mindfulness. What is it? And I mean, I never learned it in school. I never learned it in university. I only started to study it recently because it's not something that is taught when you're growing up. When in most cultures, it's not. Some cultures it is taught. But it is about active listening. Number one is that we really, in both Agile and mindfulness, we focus on the ability to listen and to understand and to really be present when a person is talking. So we know that in Agile teams can learn to listen better and establish better connections with both the customer and within the team itself, which in turn then boosts the quality of the product as well as productivity. Some of us that's on this call might know the 12 Agile Manifesto principles, and we know that there's one, and one of those are focus on simplicity. So again, the focus is on high value, yet simple processes and solutions to reduce the waste and increase quality. So mindfulness can really help people to become more aware of unnecessary mental clutter, and also enhance the skill of making simple choices. The other technique is also focused relaxation. So this is a technique that we're going to practice in this session as well, which will just help you to completely relax, okay, and to be in a state of alert. So relaxation also means that you are more alert, and we call it focused relaxation. So it's really the ability for you to be able to pay attention to your thoughts, as well as steering your mind into the present moment. A big part of mindfulness is breathing. Also something that I had to learn, especially presenting and talking, and I'm still working on it. Okay, but it's very important that we make sure that we breathe, and because it's linked to our emotions, it is also linked to our overall well-being. So as we know, in an agile world, being in a present moment is essential, especially during a sprint. So it won't help if the team is bogged down by thoughts of the past, of the future, as I said before, but it's really about getting your team to be in the moment. Similarly, if we look at meetings, it's the same with meetings as well. We want to focus on short meetings that is focused, that is present, and that has a simple design. So the purpose of mindfulness is to declutter and to really help the team to focus. And you can start using this in your teams as well. Has there been anybody in the group that has maybe done any mindfulness techniques in their teams? If you could maybe put it in the chat box, maybe just yes. Anybody that has done it? Okay. Anybody that has tried it before? Okay. You can just put yes or no. That's fine. Thank you, Dina. Thank you, Alexander. So some people have maybe already tried it in their agile teams or in their teams, or even just with yourself, because as a leader, it's all about you working on yourself every day to become a better leader. So even if our company is not open for it or the team is not ready for it, we can start to practice it within ourselves to start to become more aware of becoming a better leader, in a sense to empower other people and to help them to move them forward. Okay, thank you, Carmen and Mias. Thank you so much. Okay, so any other comments before we actually doing the exercise? Are there anybody that would like, Krishna, would you like to add anything before we actually do a mindfulness practice? Just quickly in the chat box, are you guys up for it? Yes or no? Are you up for it? It's going to be very quick. It's not going to be long, but the purpose of it is really just for you to be able to experience breathing and being present. Thank you, Grace Lee. It's good to see you on the call. Okay. So nothing to be afraid of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stop the share right now. And what I would like you to do is just to relax in your chair. Okay. And if you can even lie down, that's fine. Maybe you can lie on the floor. Just put your microphone on. Just be in a comfortable position. Okay, so I would like you to be in a very, very comfortable position. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just play a little bit of background music. And while I'm playing this music, it will be about 2 to 3 minutes. I would just like you to listen to my voice and just close your eyes. Okay, so as everybody can please close their eyes. Okay. And you can even, yeah, if you don't mind, just putting yourself on mute. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit softer. Okay, I hope the sound is good. Okay. So I would like you to start by sitting in a comfortable position with your back straight and your feet flat on the floor. You can close your eyes or lower your gaze, whatever is comfortable for you. Notice your body seated, feeling the weight of your body on the chair or on the floor. Take a few slow, deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. As you take a deep breath in, imagine bringing in more oxygen into your body. As you exhale, imagine having a sense of deep relaxation. Notice your legs against the chair, the pressure, the heaviness, the lightness. Notice your back against the chair. Is it straight or curved? Notice your stomach area. If your stomach is tense or tight, let it soften. Notice your arms. Feel any sensations in your arms. Notice your shoulders. Are they raised or lowered? If they are tight, pull them down and let them be soft. Notice your face and your expression. Soften your jaw and let your face and facial muscles be soft. Then notice your whole body present. Take one more deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Another deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Be aware of your whole body from head to toe as best as you can. When you're ready, open your eyes or return your gaze forward. Okay. Okay, I hope nobody fell asleep. Do we still have people on the call? So just a short exercise for you to be able to experience breathing and mindfulness. Just some feedback in the chat box. How was that for you? How was your experience? In the chat box? Anybody? Was the music not playing? Oh, sorry about that, Claire. I'm not sure why you couldn't hear the sound. That's a pity. Oh my goodness, sorry about that. It was relaxing, pleasant, relaxed. Thank you so much. Okay. Sorry about that, but no sound. Okay. I don't know why. We did test the sound before. Not sure why the sound didn't work. Apologies for that. If you do this exercise, you will see there's actually an app called Calm, which I'm going to share at this end of this session, and that is also on YouTube. It's called Calm, and you can just put it up. There's like 10 minutes, 5 minutes exercises that you can actually do that really helps you to to be more relaxed and to be more present, and just to take that little bit of time out in between meetings, in between all the various activities that we're doing every single day. Okay, thank you, Grace Lee. Okay, so so let me just finish presentation. Okay, so what I would like you to do is just to self-reflect. Okay, so based on this webinar, I would like you to identify how you could be able to apply this to increase your personal agility and also lead more effectively. Okay, so just in your own time, this is part of our programs as well. We have a lot of self-reflection. So it's about listening, it's about doing an exercise. What is one thing that you can do based on this webinar? Just one thing. And even if you want to type it into the chat box, you can, to share that with us. Okay, so we're just going to give you a minute or two just to reflect. Thank you, Amit. Yes, I'm going to share it with you now. It's called the Calm. It's Calm. I will share it at the end of this session as well. The resources. There's an app that you can download, and when you go to 10-minute relaxation, this app, you can also download it onto your phone, which I also have, and you can just listen to it with your earphones, or just on YouTube as well if you don't want to get the app. There's a couple of them as well. Okay, so that really helps. Okay, so just to think about what it is that you can do as a leader. If you're not leading teams, what is it that you can do in your personal capacity for you to be able to be more mindful so that you can increase your overall wellness? Because remember, if you are feeling good, if you are confident, if you are feeling good inside of your skin, you're also going to be a good leader. Okay, and therefore it's important because it starts with ourselves as well. Okay, so I'm just going to share some tools, some resources with you as well. So these are some of the resources that is related to Agile leadership. And then also Juliet Adams, who's the co-author of Mindful Leadership for Dummies. And then also you can go and download the Calm app as well, okay, for you to be able to implement this in your life. So before I hand you over to Krishna, who's going to just talk you a little bit through our program for the year, I would like to just share this quote with you from Charles Darwin. And he said, "It is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change." So just think about it. Think about what it is that you can change. How can you adapt? How can you become more resilient? And for me personally, this was one of the biggest tools that I could use in my crazy life, having 3 children, doing consulting, doing training. It is to have techniques that is going to ground you and that is going to anchor you. Okay, so I'm going to hand you over to Krishna. Krishna, any Q&A? Are there any questions? Anything that anybody, Krishna and I will both be here now to just answer some questions. If there are any questions, you can type it in the chat box. Or if there's anything that you want me to clarify of anything that I mentioned, perhaps you couldn't hear well, or I just spoke too fast or too soft. If there's anything that I need to just say again or clarify, you can just put it in the chat box. Okay.
Brilliant. I think 2 has a very interesting point. Self-reflection should be the way you observe your mind, your emotions, as well as accept the internal and external situations to adapt to yourself at the present moments. Touche. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Wow,
Well
that is
said.
very nice. Artie, please save the chat so we can get this. This is really good. Good
So
quotes.
Samantha asked, what type of exercises would you do with the Scrum team? Okay, I have a recommendation and I'll pass it on to my colleague, Lindy. One of the recommendations I have is before you can start thinking about mindfulness, I want you to think about self care. To be mindful about yourself, you need to put some self care. Self care means you're prioritizing yourself first above everything else. For example, having a good sleep, eating on time, doing a little bit of exercise, and spending some quality time for yourself that will enrich your life. So if you're able to look after yourself, you'll be able to look after other people. It starts with you. Okay, so you are doing a bit of self-care, and you are mindful of it yourself, you're meditating, you're practicing the techniques, and you're working with your teams. So if I want to apply it for the teams, again, self-care for the teams, what are the things that would help the team to improve the way they are working, the environment they are working in? Are they having a psychological safe environment? Are they getting bullied by leadership? If something goes wrong, are they getting told off? Are they getting smacked? If you're the scrum master, the coach, are you? If you're the leader for the team, are you there as a barrier before anybody goes to your team? They have to come through you. Are you there for them? If you're able to be that person, if you're able to create that environment, the team starts to tend to get together and understand, okay, what are the things which is working for us, what we can do differently, what are the things we can experiment and try. That's the environment you're creating for the team. But if you're able to create that environment for your team, the next question to ask is to be mindful and be better in the way we are doing. What are the things we can do? What are the experiments we can try? Instead of pushing things out, tease that information from the team. And whatever ideas you get, try to experiment them. Even if it's a tiny experiment, even if you made 1 degree change over a long period, after 3 months, 6 months, it's a big gap. It's a big change. So that's something I want you to look into. Lindy,
Yeah,
anything you
so I
want to add?
think also it starts with active listening. As we said, active listening is the most important part, which we also teach in our programs as well. And then, you could also do perhaps just a quick breathing exercise. And as I said, there's many on YouTube that you can do with your team for them to be present. And then maybe just a question to them before the meeting starts, how are you feeling right now? For everybody to start to become more aware of how they are doing. So it's just short techniques that you can do. But I think as Krishna said as well, it starts with you and to create that awareness against for your self-awareness as well. So thanks for that question. Are there any other questions? Thank you for the question, Samantha. Are there anybody that has any other question around mindfulness before I hand you over to Krishna? Again, we will share our alumni with you, our details with you. So if there's any questions or anything that you want to connect with us after this, you're welcome to do that. Okay.
So one of my colleagues is going to paste a link. There's a lot of rich content on our LinkedIn group. So join the LinkedIn group, and if you see some free content, just download it. There's a lot of rich free content on our website as well. Learn, borrow brilliance. If you know for a fact, if something's working with one team, if you found a technique which is working, even breathing, a simple breathing exercise can bring you to the present and calm your nerves down. If you're in a stressful situation, just be present for the time being and see what are the things you can do to help you. So
Okay.
how can I improve the critical thinking using mindfulness techniques? There are multiple ways. Amit, I would love to share with you. Because of the time constraints we have, we don't have the choice. But what you can do is you can drop us an email at hello@leadershiptribe.com, and or even come into one of our classes or reach out, because we have tons of coaches who work with us, and some of our coaches who work with, they're also mentors for people as well as for leaders and teams. So reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to support you, and or even guide you in your learning journey.